crazy day, man.
Can you hear me fine?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep. Just make sure my phone's charged at the same time so I don't lose battery.
Okay.
There. Because she has to use this for her first gig today. One of two.
Hi, everybody. For everybody joining, it's your favorite Jedi, BMF Goddess. I have the ultimate pleasure today of being able to interview the dancing diva, your favorite neighborhood cross-dresser, Miss Inita D. Thanks for making time for us.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making time for us. I know you're super busy, being ultra fabulous at so many shows and events.
I'm just trying to pay my rent. That's pretty much it. So, as I do my face right now, as we talk.
Do you think? That's awesome. How are you today? How are you feeling? You've been ready for a show now. How do you feel before the show?
I don't really feel good. I use the time to do my face to think of like what I'm going to do for the show. I mean, some shows I already send my music in, so I know what to do. Other shows, like bingo, I kind of wing it when I get there, like feel out the vibe for the crowd and like what they're in the mood for. And so I kind of think about like what songs I'm going to do, what like tricks I might do in my songs, what I'm feeling in the mood for, if I want to do like all dancing numbers, if I want to do something emotional. So kind of like I use this like hour of doing my face as like my like zen moment, you know, like gather my thoughts, get myself together, and prepare myself for the evening. Because you know, once I arrive to the venue, it's kind of like you're on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you gotta put that face on, you gotta put that smile on. You know, you have to be like exuberant, exciting, and you can't. I don't know. It's just you gotta be on. So it's like I gotta like woo-sa before I see everyone.
Right. Absolutely. And for those watching, if you have any questions or comments, Inita will answer them as long as they're not disrespectful. There's no tolerating that here.
We ain't got no time for that.
Exactly. So, and whoever's trying to join, this is just a two-way podcast for today.
Yeah, we're having a podcast. And question for you, just because so I'm new to this whole technology thing. I just got these AirPods, and like, you know, they have the noise cancellation. Do you hear like a feedback in the background, like a zzz, or like, no? Okay, cool. So that's perfect.
Perfect. That's awesome. Your nails are fierce. Let me see those. Okay,
so we're gonna show only these because the thumb is missing. The thumb is missing, but I don't like wearing nails. I mean, Holiday's here. Hi everyone. I don't like wearing nails when I do my shows because I do like a lot of tricks and they always end up like popping off. But yesterday I had a wedding that I did and the nails kind of stayed on, and I was like, you know what? Let me try a day with nails on and see if I can do my makeup and keep them on for the shows tonight. And so I'm gonna see how I feel. And so far, not so bad. But I will say, going to the bathroom with nails on and trying to wipe your ass is a little hard.
Someone said their wife would love your nails.
Oh, well, listen, these are literally from the beauty store. The brand is called Kiss. It's so funny. Kiss is like, they started making these nails that like, they already have stones on them. They already have like, so it's like you take out all that process of like trying to customize your own nails and stone them.
Yes, that's so true.
And they're like $7. So I'm like, $7 for some drag nails? Absolutely.
People ask me, I do the same thing. People will be like, oh my God, your nails are gorgeous. I'm like, yeah, I did them myself. Really? All I gotta do is press them on.
Oh, right. I did them myself.
But it's so convenient.
Yeah, I mean, also, I don't, not that I'm not like a nails I don't keep up with my nails that much, but also I don't have like that much time to go to a nail salon and get like acrylics on, and also like I'm still a man in the aspect of like I still like being Zachary outside of drag, so I don't feel like having these all day.
Right, yeah.
Someone said, what inspired your name? Inita D, great name, what does it mean?
That's a
Okay,
great
so
question.
that is a good question. So Inita D. So when I first started doing drag, there was a competition coming up, and my friend recommended, who's my drag sister, her name's Hibiscus. She recommended me doing it, and so I sat with like my closest friends, and I was like, I need to think of a name. I don't know what name I should do, and like someone had recommended my name be Cece, which is like kind of sure like a nickname for someone named Christine, because my boy name Zachary is spelled with two C's, so it's Zaccary, no H.
Oh,
Right. So there was like a. I know it's real unique. Don't even ask me how high school and middle school was, where I got like awards because they were always misspelled. But someone said Cece. They're like, because your name is spelled with two C's, and then also my mom's name is Christine. So I was like, oh, that could tie in like family and my name, and it's like it's like a nickname for a female's name. And so I was like thinking about that, but then my friends were like, and excuse my language, but they're like, no, bitch, like you a little bit more ratchet. CC sounds too like classy and proper, and it sounds too tamed, and like you're a wild firecracker, and like you're funny, and you're always talking about like penis and like just all the crazy things you do, and like the random guys that you meet here and there, like all your stories. So like we need something that like is more fitting for you. And I was like, yeah, well, I talk about dick all the time because like I need it. And then I was like, I need it. Anita with an A, but instead of an A, I spell it with an I, and then Inita D came about. And if you're wondering what the D stands for, it's dollar, drink, dependency, and then dick, because I want the first three before I get the last.
I see.
She's a businesswoman. Hi, everyone. Hi, Peaches.
You got another question there. How long do you know that you were into the drag scene? Was it from... All right, we're going to get to that. Let me start by saying you travel all over New York City performing at shows, right?
Yeah.
At the moment, is it just based in New York, or have you traveled outside?
I mean, majority of my gigs are in New York. I have traveled outside of New York for gigs. I've gone to California before, where someone has booked me. I've been in Pennsylvania several times as well, which is not super far. Philly, as well as like Reading, and girl, I just came from a gig last weekend where our neighbors was literally cows in a pasture. So, then there, yeah, like the hotel was in like this area where like it was like Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which is not like a huge, it's like a more rural farm kind of town area of Pennsylvania. And there was a hotel like right in the middle of like this pasture area, and literally like when you looked outside, it was like cows grazing. So she has no problem going. She has no problem going to the farms for $1. But yeah, I've been all over. But I'm mostly based in New York. I live in New York City, and I perform mostly in New York City. And I have like weekly gigs that are in the city as well.
Awesome. So let's go back to the beginning. If we may. How old were you, and how did this become a passion of yours?
So I've been doing drag for about 4.5 years now. I started, so I'm 31 now, so 28, 30, 31. Yeah, so probably like around when I was 27 was when I started doing drag. Oh, hello, that's my AirPod. When I was 27 was when I started doing drag. And I got into it, like I said, because I was recommended to do a competition. But before that, I was always dancing, and I was like backup dancing for drag queens at like local shows, local events, even like pageants, like national drag pageants and stuff. And I always enjoyed performing for people. So originally, like my plan was like to be a backup dancer and to dance for like drag queens and celebrities. Like my ultimate goal was like, I want to backup dance for Beyonce. That was like always what I said to myself, right? But I guess like as getting more into nightlife, working in restaurants and bars, working in nightlife, dancing for drag queens, you know, you just pick up on the habits, and like you see what they do to get ready for drag and all this stuff. And I don't know what it was, but like I enjoyed backup dancing, but I really wanted to like, this might sound like selfish, but I wanted to be in the center, you know, like I wanted, like I would do like Beyonce choreo with another queen. Right, I would do like Beyonce choreo with like another queen. I'm like, oh, I know I'm fucking this choreo up like in the best way. Like I am slaying this choreo right now, and I'm like, but I just want to be in the middle. I don't want to be a Michelle or a Kelly. Like I want to be Beyonce. And so once I debuted my drag at a competition, which I won, ever since then I wouldn't say I haven't looked back, but I've been doing it since, and I enjoy it because I'm the center of attention. I get to be the Beyonce and live the fantasy that I want to live. But I also like it because I have a platform now. I'm doing what I love, which is to perform for others. But I have a platform now where I can use that to spread like messages. If there's something important going on, if there's an election going on, if there is, a specific month that's like a Heritage Month, or if there is something that's going on in New York City, like I can use my platform and the attention, because I am the center of attention, to get people to listen to me and spread my word and help out whatever cause I can. So it's like a two-way street. I love giving back all the time, and I love making sure everyone's having a good time and feeling good. But I also can use it for important matters as well, you know?
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for that. We need more people like you. Tully said that sounds like you're motivated, not selfish. I agree.
You know what? You are right. I was motivated. Being on the side and like half in the spotlight, I was like, no. We got to work on our skills so we can be in the center of the spotlight and be that attention, you know, and get that attention, and live our Beyonce fantasy.
Holla. Franco Basora said, "Who taught you makeup?"
So honestly, the two main people that taught me really like most of my skills with makeup beginning was my drag mom, who did my face the first like 2-3 times. She taught me the basics, like what kind of like you need, what's like the basic kit for like every drag queen: setting powder, foundation, mascara, you know, all that stuff. She did my face 3 times, and then my roommate JP is a makeup artist as well, and so he would do my face when I first started doing drag a few times too as well, and I learned from him a lot of techniques and a lot of different skills. And then the rest for my own face literally was from like Facebook Live, watching others Facebook Live, Instagram Lives, watching YouTube tutorials, watching makeup artists, and then just asking questions. Like I'd watch a drag queen do her face and I'm like, oh, what product did you use for your eyes? Or how do you set your eyebrows? Or what do you use for your lip? And it was just like trial and error until I found like a style, I would say, on my face that I really enjoyed. And now I can do my face. As you see now.
Do you happen to do any tutorials? Because just in the little few minutes that I've seen you do your eyebrows, they are fleek already.
I don't do it.
It looks like it takes nothing to do, but it's not as easy as when you watch.
No, but you know what it is? I never claim that I'm a makeup artist, because I'm not. Like, I don't know. And also, there's differences between being a makeup artist and being like a drag queen who can do her face, because there are certain techniques that you will learn that you can do on others. So like, I don't ever say that I don't do tutorials, because I only know what works for my face, and I can only give like tips here and there to someone about like, well, this is what I use, this is what I do. It might work for you, it might not, because every technique that you see in makeup doesn't work for everyone's face. You have to like kind of learn more about your face and like your facial structure and the texture of your skin and all these different factors to really understand like what products are going to work, what steps are going to work, and honestly, like what techniques will work best for your face that will give you whatever desired look you want. And I can't do that on everyone.
Facts. That's true.
Truth, baby. Hi, everyone.
What was your first show?
My first show was this amateur drag competition called Legendary Wednesdays at Rise Bar over in Hell's Kitchen. It's over by 56 and 9th. Ted is one of the owners. I love Ted. So if you're watching this, Ted, I love you. Hi, everyone. And once a month, they did like an amateur drag competition, and each month was a different diva. And so the month that I did it was Beyonce, and my drag sister was like, her name, and Hibiscus, she was like, okay, girl, they want me to do this competition, but you know I don't, not that she doesn't like Beyonce, she just doesn't know Beyonce. Like, she's a Britney fan. So she's like, but I know you know Beyonce. I know you know like most of her choreo from like almost all her songs. You should do it. And so, you know, I said, screw it, let's do it. And we spent the whole month before like gathering clothing, getting makeup, getting like undergarments, tights, panties, all these different things together, hair, an outfit, and I debuted, at Rise. I competed. I won, which was like amazing. I was like, oh my god, my first competition is drag competition.
Your first show, that's how you know you were meant to do it.
Okay, so I won, which was like amazing. And then Ted was like, I guess I did a really good job, because then Ted comes up to me and he's like, hey, do you want to do this every Friday? And so I ended up getting like a weekly after my first debut, and the weekly was easy. All I had to do was like show up on Friday around like 11, mingle, hang out with people, and then I would just do like one number for everyone, a nice, simple, easy number, dancey, whatever, and then I would just mingle until like 1 or 2 o'clock. And so for me, I was like, oh, like this, you know, to debut your drag, and in the same night get a job offering weekly, like that's a lot. That's like a great accomplishment, because it takes a lot of work, especially in New York City, because there's so much drag, for you to like really get your foot in the door and get like a weekly at a venue. So I was super thankful for it. But then unfortunately, just because I was so new at drag, I didn't have a lot of like hairstyles or mixes or numbers or outfits. And so I think like after a month or two, I kind of quit. Not in bad terms. I just told them, I was like, hey, I'm really like brand new to drag. I'm still learning how to do my makeup. I don't have that many outfits, and I don't want to like repeat things and kind of become like lackluster. Like I want to really continue to elevate, but drag is expensive. So I'm going to just focus on working right now at my like day job and like my server job, build up my money, build up my looks, and then I'll definitely come back. And if you ever need me, I would love to come back. And he was super understanding, and then I've been like performing there here and there too throughout the years. So Rise Bar is my stomping grounds.
You're definitely a natural talent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sina Marie. Thanks everybody for joining. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them there, and Nita will answer them live
and in full makeup color.
So what did you do for Pride this year? I know there wasn't no parade, but there was a lot still going on.
Yeah, it was weird, because there like supposedly was a parade, or maybe like it was an unauthorized parade. I don't know. There was like a lot of activity that happened. I worked the whole weekend, which was beautiful, because it felt like we were back to normal. I had, on Pride itself, I had a brunch that I do in Hell's Kitchen over by 46th Street. So I just did that. And then after, I came home to rest, because the whole week was just really hectic. I came home to rest, and then I got back in drag, and I went to this big like Pride party over at Stage 48. And Lauren Allred, have a great gig tonight. Thank you. Hi everyone. Lauren Allred, who is the woman that sings Never Enough from Greatest Showman. But like she's not the actress in the movie, but the one that actually sings the song that the actress like lip syncs to. She performed at the party, so I got to see her live, which was amazing. And then yeah, I just kind of partied Sunday night, and then Monday I was off, so I just stayed home and ordered Seamless and recovered from from the busy week, you know. So that was my Pride.
How would you explain the New York drag scene?
Honestly, amazing. I like, from going to other places, it's not to downgrade drag in other places, but I think because New York City already is a place for artists, for musical theater people, for actors and singers and dancers, for sculptors, painters, makeup artists, it's like a mecca for that. That has also translated into the drag scene, and so you get so many, like the drag scene in New York City is so diverse. Like whatever type of drag you're into, if you're into pageant drag, if you're into old school drag, if you're into abstract artistic drag, if you're into gory, like gore and fab drag, if you're into like conceptual drag, whatever drag you're into, you can honestly find in New York City, and that's what I love about it. But I think because there's so many, drag queens as well. But because there's so many drag queens and kings and like AFAB queens as well, it can be competitive. And so like if you do come into the scene, you really kind of have to like find your niche and really perfect whatever skill or talent you have to really like kind of stay, I wouldn't say stay relevant, but just like become successful in New York. Like you just can't be a mediocre queen and think it's gonna last long in New York City, because it won't.
Facts. like anything else, have the passion or get out the way.
Right. And because it's the competition's fiercer. Like, it's insane. It's so beautiful to see, like, the concepts that queens come up with, the artistry, even in, like, the music they choose to do, or, like, the mixes that they make. It's, like, it's astounding, and it's so just amazing to be a part of that community, because it sometimes helps inspire you to, like, be like, okay, let me think outside the box, because I know other queens are doing that, and so it kind of pushes your artistic like creativity, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, if y'all watching me and I look like an alien, don't mind it. I promise y'all I will look pretty when this is all done. Or at least semi-decent.
Nothing can make you ugly, okay?
Oh, baby. You say that now, honey. You have not.
I'm not flattering you. It's true.
Baby, I appreciate the statement, but have you watched Drag Queens Get Ready? Because it goes from, it's not pretty.
It gets crazy before it gets fabulous.
It gets real crazy before it gets fabulous, and I'm like, and it's funny, like, just kind of sidetracking real quick, it's so funny because when I was first doing makeup, I used to get so frustrated, it would take me so long, because I'm like, this isn't pretty, like, this doesn't look good, like, I don't look like this queen, I don't look like that one. Like right now, I'd be like upset about it, because I'm like, this isn't how it's supposed to. And my drag mom was like, because you have to keep going. Like, it's gonna look real ugly before it looks real pretty. And once I kind of got that on my head, that the process isn't pretty, but the end result is, that's when I became more comfortable doing my makeup.
Now, for the people who don't know, I know what it means, but explain a drag mom.
Oh, so a drag mother is someone that you choose, Rue and everyone says, like, the gay community, the queer community, like, it's a chosen family, and it is true. So the drag mom is usually someone you choose to guide you in the process of drag, and, like, in getting your foot in the door, guide you in makeup and looks. Someone that you find as a mother figure to, like, just be there for you. Sometimes you'll find a pattern of, like, drag moms are usually, like, the person that puts someone up in drag for the first time, just because they've kind of been that guiding figure in that person's, like, in that queen's life. Sometimes people get drag moms later on as they start to, like, develop relationships with other drag queens and become friends and really start forming bonds within the community. So it's kind of, like, up to date. There's no timeline of when you can do it, but yeah, that's just a drag mom, and it's someone you feel like is there for you, is there to guide you, is there to help you out when you need help, and to really just help you find your own in the drag scene, I'm also surprised that I'm multitasking and still, like, getting this face done at the same time, because sometimes when I, like, do lives or stuff, I get so distracted that I'm like, oh, it's 3 hours later.
How long does it normally take you to get ready?
So makeup takes between an hour to 45 minutes. Hi, everyone. Hi, Carrie. An hour to 45 minutes. 45 minutes to an hour to do my makeup. And then to get dressed is like another 20. It doesn't take me that long to get dressed. I don't know, though, because I have nails, so that's why I'm getting dressed. That's why I'm getting ready earlier than normal, because I have nails on, and I'm thinking about putting my tights on right now and everything. I'm like...
It's going to be tough. Oh, my
Right.
gosh, you think so? You don't have no one to help you?
No, I don't got money like that to have an assistant all the time.
I know, I'm just saying, maybe your roommate was there or something.
Oh, no. My roommate is not here at the moment. So, what did I say? It's amazing to watch you grow. I remember when you came to my parties way back, and now look at you. I know. Hi, everyone. Hi, Brown, Spicy, Poppy. Hi, Mount Olympia. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I have, like, a friend of mine that's, like, also an assistant from time to time, but he mostly helps me, like, coordinate my outfits for the week and post my flyers on my page, and then that's about it. And then if I have, like, a big event that I'm doing, he'll come with me to help dress me. But today, I gotta be an independent woman, so I gotta learn how to do my face first and get dressed in drag with nails on before I bring an assistant. And if it's impossible, I will take these nails off real quick, best believe, and she will be nailless at the gig, okay?
Where did you grow up? Did you grow up in New York?
I did. I'm from Westchester, girl. Ooh, not that. I'm from Westchester County. I grew up in Westchester. I grew up
Are you still in that area, or you moved from there?
Oh, I moved, baby. Oh, I got out, honey.
You're in the city now.
I'm a city girl. I was born in White Plains, which is in Westchester County. I was raised in Yonkers. That's my hometown, and I lived there until 2008, and then I came to the city to go to college. And then since 2008, I have lived in the city since.
How was it growing up? Did you have an okay childhood? Was it tough?
From my own experience, growing up there had its challenges. I was in the closet till I was 14, so I dealt with like harassment and bullying and all that, because clearly what I thought would help hide my sexuality did not. Like, I was like, girl, the fashion sense that I thought I had when I was in like middle school was anyways. So I had my share. I think middle school was the hardest for me. But then once I came out, it kind of like everything in the universe just shifted for me. I became popular. I think because I was just confident in who I was now. I was confident to be myself, and that brought positive friends in my life. I was very active in a lot of things. I was active in the gay community center in Yonkers. I was active in sports. I did swimming, things of that nature. But Yonkers is also just still it's a huge city. It's really big. It's one of the biggest cities in New York. But like everyone knew everyone. It was one of those places, you know what I mean? And I'm like, and then after like 10 o'clock, there's nothing to do in Yonkers, like, and at the time I wasn't 21, so it's like, unless you want to go to some like local dive bar and literally just like drink beers and do nothing with your life, then you stayed there. And again, nothing against people in Yonkers, but just for me, I always had my feeling. I was like, not that I don't belong here, but I just could not stay in Yonkers. Like, I'm someone that loves to have options of things to do. I love exploring. I love finding new places to go. I love that there's things open late at night. And so for me, I was like, I have to get out of Yonkers. And I did when I went to college. And when I came to the city and dormed my first year, it was like, yup, this is where I belong. You know what I mean?
The city that never sleeps.
Yeah, and it's the simple things, like being in my dorm when I was in college and like leaving the dorm at 2 a.m. and there's a halal truck outside that's still open was like, oh, so simple. But like, it's just like those things like that would not be in Yonkers, like it's just, I was just like, I can't stay in this city. I cannot. And so I got out. And it's funny because my gay friends that I have been friends with for over a decade in Yonkers, they all say the same thing too. They're like, yeah, girl, she's one of the few that made it out of Yonkers. Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
How did you, wait a minute. I was gonna say. Oh, what about your family? Are they supportive?
So my mom and dad are both, well, I don't know how to phrase this. I grew up with my mom, so I'm a product of like a single parent household. So I grew up with her mainly. So when I first came out, I came out to her when I was 8. That's a story. I can't wait to share that. But I was mostly concerned with just her approval. I didn't really care too much about my dad's approval because I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't raised by my dad, And so for me, growing up and just becoming more comfortable who I am and understanding my relationships with my family, it was just important that my mom be on my side and be a support system. And she has always been my biggest support. You know what I mean? She's there for me through thick and thin. She's seen it all. She's met all my boyfriends that I've had so far. And she's been there for me. My dad was very supportive towards the towards my adulthood. But unfortunately, he passed away 2 years ago in June. But before he passed away, we really had we were repairing our relationship because I grew up without him really in my life when I was younger, because of like both of them being recovering addicts, drug addicts, and him like relapsing and all this stuff. And I don't mind sharing that because I think sometimes being transparent just shows you that everyone's fucking human, and like we can't paint this picture perfect life on our social media as we do, and then get online and still continue to try to be like not real. And that's just the reality of my upbringing. But when college came and I graduated, he came to my graduation with my mom. Hi, Steve. Came to graduation with my mom. And we had one of those classic Lifetime story where I'm in a park with him at a barbecue. I'm crying. I'm cursing him out. I'm like, we let everything out, and we kind of like started shooting the shit. And then from that moment on, he was like one of my biggest fans too. And like, it's so funny. They both had Facebook, and like, if I posted something in drag, they both comment like, yeah, that's my son. And I'm like, Mom, I'm wearing a wig. Come on! But,
Amazing.
Right.
And for you guys to repair your relationship before he passed, that's
right.
Wow.
That's why I'm really thankful for that. Before he passed, that we had a much stronger relationship than growing up. And I'm so thankful for that. And I know that he's watching me, and like he would always call me his like international superstar all the time. While like when I was doing my gigs and when we would check in and stuff. And so I use that as motivation to just keep going and really try to like accomplish all my goals that I have with my career and my life. But yeah, I'm lucky enough to say that both my parents have supported me in my just being a queer person, and then also being a drag queen.
Right.
And I know that a lot of people don't get that choice, like a lot of people in the queer community, or they don't get that loving parenting. So I am blessed and fortunate and understand that I have that,
Steve Lugo, we love you too.
We love you. Thanks for the recommendation, Boo Boo. You sexy wrestler, you.
Mother Juana Baez, she said it's amazing to have watched you grow. I remember when you came to my... Oh, okay, wait, you said that one. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
See. I came out to my mom on my 21st birthday, and it wasn't all that happy. I'm sorry about that.
Can I say something to that real quick?
You know what would you say to those people who struggle with that type of problem, Nita?
I will say, like, okay, when I first told my mom, I told her, like I said, like, when I was 8, and I told her right after church, so there was a lot of, it wasn't, like, the most, like, I love you, like, it wasn't like that. But after a year or two, we really got to a place of really being comfortable because we had the conversation. This is what I will say. When I told my mom, she literally had the Bible in her hand and, like, shuffled through it and was like, read this, which was one of the passages that said, girl, I'm like, great timing, Zachary, like, real good time I needed to tell your mom, which said, thou shalt not sleep with a man as if he were thy woman, right? Basically, like, a man shouldn't sleep with a man, or however you want to interpret it. And so for a year or two, there was that kind of time period of uncomfortability of like what to say, what not to say. She thought it was a phase. She thought she wasn't gonna get no grandkids. Her having her own self-doubt. And so what I will say is that it's not gonna always be the easiest, and it's not gonna be the like happiest moment, or like, if you're lucky that your mom's like, I don't care, like I love you regardless, then you're very lucky. But what I will say too is if they are trying to understand you, right? If they're not like, get out of my house, like I don't want you as my child, I don't want you as my son, I disown you. If they're not doing that, but they seem to be uncomfortable and they're trying to understand you, have a little patience with them. Because, like, see how crazy I look? I told you, it gets crazy. Because the thing that my mom told me, like after years of, me being raised by her, she was like, when you come out, I have to come out. Because now, when she goes to work, when she goes to hang out with her friends, conversations with family members, if you're still in the closet or if you just came out, she has to tell those friends, like, when they're like, oh, is your son good? Like, does your son have a girlfriend? What's your son doing for prom? All these simple questions that we don't think about. She has, she has to be like, or your dad, they have that moment of kind of them having a little coming out, and they're like, oh, he has a boyfriend, or she has a girlfriend, or my child's trans. So Can you respect the pronouns? And so then they get that moment of like how we felt when we were nervous of like, oh my God, are my friends going to be okay with this? How are they going to feel? Blah, 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 blah. And so it is a coming out process for not just you, but for your family members. And so I always just tell people I've had like younger people come to my shows and they're like, I'm thinking about coming out. And I say to them, I'm like, before you do that, one, make sure you have a place that you can go to be safe, whether it's a friend house, another family member, or a shelter that you know you can go to. And two, just prepare yourself for it not to be an easy conversation and be very uncomfortable. Okay? And then if they are willing to work with you and understand you, have a little patience because now they have to come out as well. And I think a lot of times people think because of what they see on TV or what they see from people that are out already or from celebrities or from social media, they think it's like I tell them and they have to accept it right away. And it's not that they don't have to accept it, it's just that you have to give them some time because you've changed something in the dynamic between you. Do you get what I'm saying? They might have raised you thinking my child's straight. This is the timeline I see them in. They're gonna marry the opposite gender. They're gonna have kids. Da 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 da. You're telling them something now that's like, oh, okay. So they're gonna maybe marry someone of their own, same gender. Maybe have kids. Maybe not have kids. I don't. You've kind of changed what they thought raising you was gonna be like.
Right.
So I just say have a little patience for those that did not have a good experience. However, you do not deserve to be belittled, to be harassed, or to be felt like you don't belong on this earth. And so if you find that is happening when living with your family, and if you are old enough or have the strength to, find a safe place to be at, find a counselor, find a family member that you know will accept you, find a shelter, and get yourself in a place that is safe. Because suicide within the queer community is very high, and it's high because not only do we deal with harassment from outside of the world, we deal with harassment and homophobia within our own household. And so I always tell people if you're thinking about coming out, just have a game plan because it is a scary, scary process. Hey doll, how are you? I missed your lives. Hi baby.
Ultimately, do live your truth. Don't stay in a closet for anybody.
And also, when you're ready. That's another thing. Yeah. When you are ready to live in your truth and let others know what your truth is, then you do it. Do not feel pressured to come out because your friends did or what. When you are ready, when the time is right for you, the time is right for you, and then you just take it from there, baby. But I will say this, that when you come out and you are fully come out and you are fully living your truth, baby, it is so liberating. And it is just so liberating to just know who you are, even though you might deal with harassment, homophobia, to know who you are, and there will be a change in the universe and within you that is going to be beautiful. Trust and believe, because baby, when I came out, ooh, honey, girl, I felt like the unicorns was parading around me. I was like, yes, baby. Why did I do this sooner? Well, like, my mom was 8, but everyone else was like 14. Okay, let's contour this face. Okay, now I'm gonna start looking pretty. I promise y'all. Because I was looking like E.T.
I'm sure you have to deal with it at some point in time. The ignorant type of people. What do you have to say to those haters or homophobes?
Okay, well, I'll say this. From outside perspective or experience, a lot of times, and I want people that are queer to listen to this really carefully, a lot of times when people are harassing you and going out of their way to harass you, there is a high percentage that they themselves are queer and are in some capacity either curious, gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever, or maybe even trans, but they are projecting their frustrations onto you and sometimes using you as that scapegoat that, like, if I make fun of this gay person, no one's gonna think I'm gay. And I've had that happen to me a lot of times, and like a few of them, several years later, I see them at the gay club and I'm like, oh, and excuse my language, but I'm like, oh, so you suck dick too? Oh, okay, cool. Oh, Okay. I'm telling you, it's
crazy.
for the other people that are actually maybe are straight and just hating on people. Baby, if my life is not endangering yours, then mind your business. Okay? Mind your business. What I do in between the sheets of my household, or in the kitchen, or the bathroom, or my shower, you know I'm crazy, y'all. Whatever I do in my own house home, in the privacy of my own house home, is my business, and you can mind yours. I don't worry about what the hell goes on in your house. I don't worry about who you having sex with. I don't worry about what babies you making or not making. I don't worry about who you sleeping with and whose relationship you ending. So mind your business and don't worry about yourself and don't worry about mine. It's not harming your children. It's not harming you. I'm not putting you in danger. You know, if you feel like you're in danger, that's just because you have a weak mind and a weak will, and you just are not open-minded, and that's just the reality. And then I flip that question onto you and be like, well, why are you so frustrated? Because maybe you need to reflect on yourself and see why am I allowing this person's actions that have nothing to do with me to bother me so much? So you might want to check yourself first, boo, before you try to check someone else. People need hobbies instead of judging others. It's true. I mean, 9 times out of 10, too, like when people want to come out their face and spend all that energy in putting someone down, whether it's even sexual relationship, status, anything about someone, if they want to like read them, it's because people are insecure and they find you as a threat because your confidence scares them. You know what I mean? Because I know who I am, 100%. I know who I am. I know who Anita is. I know the person that I am. I know what I can bring to the table. I am fully confident and aware of who I am. And when someone meets me and is scared of my confidence and threatened by my confidence, if they don't have a strong will, and strong self-esteem, then they're gonna, instead of cowering, they're gonna try to like belittle you and harass you because they are afraid of your confidence. And I don't got time for that, baby.
It's like people, you know, with either insecurities or, you know, they're not as confident. Because, trust me, I understand that completely. It's like they feel because you love yourself so much, which you should, that you think you're better. But that's not the case. That's just people who have their own insecurities. Love yourself too. Just because I love myself and think I'm the shit doesn't mean you shouldn't love yourself and think you're the shit.
Right. It's just self-love, have some self-confidence, and if you keep worrying about other people, then baby, you worry about the wrong people. You need to worry about yourself. It's like the simple analogy. You know how like shorter men will have bigger cars, or like sometimes the analogy of like men that don't have like, this is like a weird one, but like men that have small penises 9 times out of 10 will be like a lot more muscular, or they overcompensate in a certain area. Like they want to have flashy things or big cars or whatever because they're missing in some other department. That's the same thing when it comes to people that are haters and homophobic or that want to harass you or pick on you. There's something that they are insecure about. And in order for them to make up for that and overcompensate, they choose to hate on other people or to attack them, to belittle them so that they can feel better. And it's like, baby, that's not how you feel better about yourself, because you're still going through this vicious cycle that not only is taxing for the person, but it's for yourself. And then you're never truly happy.
Not only that, but people who hate, they pay attention. They watch you. Don't hate your haters, okay? They watch you. They give you views. They are literally your biggest fans. They take the time to hate or watch your life.
Absolutely. And I say this too. If I don't like a person, then I'm not going to be concerned about you. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna like every drag queen I work with. There's no like drag queen I don't like or hate. But I'm not gonna be best friends with every drag queen. And that's just the reality, because besides being drag queens, we're human beings, right? But if I don't like you or your personality or characteristic, I'm not gonna make the time to hang out with you. I'm not gonna like follow you and see what you're doing in life, because I don't like you.
That's the difference between just a confident person and a hater.
Right. Like, you spend energy to go on my page to then try to like comment some backhanded comment shit I mean, I don't really get that a lot on my page, or like honestly ever, which is great because that tells me that I'm doing a good job of just connecting and being good, easy to work with people. But I've seen people like, I've seen in the drag community, in nightlife, just in social media in general, you take the time out to go on this person's page, to go on their picture, to view their video, and then comment something stupid. Girl, how dumb do you look? You know what I mean? Like you gave me more views. Even though you try to hate on me, you gave me more views. So it's like, baby, thank you for your comment, but I got more views now. So you just helping me out get more known, boo boo.
Exactly.
I think a true mature person who recognizes they don't really kind of mess with someone or like enjoy being around someone's company will have that confidence to just keep their distance from them and mind their business. You know what I mean? If you end up seeing them somewhere and you have to work with them, you work with them. You do what you got to do. You get the job done. You get your paycheck. You bounce. You know what I mean? But after that, you don't have to kiki. You don't have to hang out. You don't got to reach out to them. You don't got to talk to them after. You don't got to, you don't. You just do your job and you keep it pushing. And some of these people just want to spend all this energy on others. And I'm like, girl, you look crazy. You know what I mean? You look crazy.
What would you say is the toughest part about what you do?
I would say now, can you still hear me? Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, because I just took one out and I was like, wasn't sure. I would say the toughest part now about doing drag is just finding that balance between Inita and paying my bills and then Zachary. Not saying yes to every gig that I get, not overextending myself and wearing myself out, and making sure I have a day or two or time for myself, like for Zachary to do what Zachary wants, and to give time for my body to heal and recover from like the gigs, and taking care of myself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, and physically. I think that's the challenge. Before it was money, because drag is expensive, but now it's kind of shifted to self-care. And I think one of the reasons why I've been that way is just that in New York City, everyone says if you're in New York City, everyone has a side hustle. Everyone has more than one job. Everyone's doing something in New York City. And I think it puts in that mindset that you have to be working all the time. And I have always grown up with this like mindset I guess because I grew up in a low-income family, that I was like, if I'm not working, I'm not making money. And so even when I had days off, I would still try to find gigs to do, or be like, oh, if you need a gas, I'll do it. And now I've gotten to a place where I'm like, no, bitch, stay home. Order some Seamless, hang out at home, watch some Netflix, and like keep your ass home because you need to give your body a chance to rest. You need to give your mind a chance to rest. You need to give your skin time to rest and breathe because you're always putting makeup on it. And so yeah, that's the challenge I would say with drag for me.
What's something, if anything, that you would say most people don't realize about what you do, or doing the whole drag thing?
I think a lot of people forget how much work goes behind the scenes to do drag. They think it's like, oh, you put a wig on, you put a makeup, and boom, boom, you go out there, you dance, da, 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 you can do it again, encore. And I'm like, as you see right now with our conversation that we're having, I'm spending almost an hour just to put this makeup on, right? Then I'm putting clothes that are uncomfortable, or undergarments that are uncomfortable to wear. Then I'm putting my genitalia, and I can only speak for myself because I'm a cis male, like I identify as a male in all capacities, but I am a drag queen. I put my penis in my booty hole. I put on tight. I put on extra tight. I put on pads. I put on heels that are high as fuck, and my nails and my toes hurt. I put on nails that are uncomfortable. I do all this to entertain, and to pay my rent and to entertain others. And it's not the quickest, easiest thing to do. And people kind of forget that there's a human being behind the drag, and they're just like, you should do this or do encore, do some more numbers, da 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 da. And in my head, I'm like, are you paying me for more? Are you paying for, because this isn't cheap, and what I do not only costs money, but it taxes my body. So before you say, oh, you should come to, like, people will be like, you'll have like, I wouldn't say friends, because my closest friends know me, but like, people that have seen me at shows or like supporters sometimes they'll be like, oh, I'm having my birthday, I would love for you to come through, and I'm like, oh, that'd be great, and they're like, I would love if you could bring like Inita and blah blah blah, and I'm like, no. If you want to book, no, I'm not getting up in drag just to come to your birthday to celebrate and be uncomfortable when I could be Zachary and be comfortable celebrating your birthday.
Right, and then for free. Like, hey, this is your gift to me. That's not a gift. That's a few gifts.
Yeah. I'm not bringing my job to you as a gift. That's not a gift, honey. That's my job. If you want to book me for your birthday, that's a different conversation, and we'll talk about pricing. But don't think I'm a
friends. But this is my livelihood. So
right. So I think people forget that. Just the human aspect of being a drag queen, and they forget how they don't know. And it's not that it's their fault because not everyone pays attention to how much work, or they can see how much work goes behind the scenes for drag. But there is a lot of prep work that goes into drag that does not make it the easiest thing to be like, oh, I can drag, boop, okay, let's do it, And I think if more people realize that, we'd have less people asking us those questions or requesting those things from us, like thinking we're gonna be able to make it happen. No, ma'am, no, I'm not showing up to your party wearing a wig and heels and my dick in my butt just for free, for shits and giggles. Absolutely not. I'm loving these questions, by the way. These are some fun questions.
Instagram will cut me off.
No, they didn't. Socially awkward Jay. Hi, socially awkward Jay.
Would you say the queens are really as catty as we see on TV?
Oh my god. I don't.
I do watch porn, and they get pretty safe from there.
Okay, I gotta say this. People, sorry, I'm like trying to do this liner. The thing is, RuPaul, yes, it does show some truth about the drag scene, or like just like human interaction in general. There is going to be drama when it's a competition, and there's pressure, and people's self-confidence and worth and their artistry is questioned and critiqued. That's going to happen. However, it's a reality show. So, not that things are staged, but people are put on the show to also be that dramatic or drama-filled moment. Like some things are created by the casting. I think I can only speak for gay men. Again, I'm always trying to be respectful of people's gender pronouns and also like just like their identification in terms of their gender identity and things. Is that gay men can argue, okay? Gay men, and this is such a general statement, and I'm sorry for making it. If anyone feels offended, I apologize, but I'm just gonna make the statement. I feel that gay men are one of the best people to like lose to in an argument because we can argue the house down boots, and we can get shady, and we can go for the low blows. And I think they're kind of like going even further back. I just think that comes from our upbringing, like, or how we were raised, of like always kind of trying to defend ourselves and find defense mechanisms to avoid being hurt or being harassed or being kicked or being abused or whatever. And so like comedy is always like a self-defense mechanism, and like being able to be shady and smart and witty has always kind of been a trend that I've seen within the gay community. And so I think when you slap a wig on and you slap uncomfortable clothing, you're gonna get some drama, you're gonna get some cattiness. The New York City scene, I will say, I feel like before I was doing drag, it was a lot more catty, or a lot more like publicized how catty it was between drag queens and their drama with each other, or drag queens at venues. I kind of think though there's been a shift though in the drag community in New York City to be a little bit more sisterly, a little bit more supportive of each other, kind of like let bygones be bygones and just really supporting each other. And I think it's because also COVID showed us that how easily we can lose our jobs, and how like unimportant, even though they are important to a lot of people and like their happiness and their sanity, how like quickly our jobs are at risk and we can lose them. And I think that kind of shifted people's mindset of like, all right, bitch, let me get over this petty little squabble I had with this queen, and let's work on supporting each other because we don't know the next time we're gonna work. You know what I mean? But queens can get catty. Queens can, don't think they can't. They can. The queens in New York City can. It's a competitive area. There's a lot of personality. There's a lot of loud personality in New York City. So you're gonna get queens that don't mess with each other, don't like each other, have drama. But I just don't think it's. I think we've kind of like. I think there's been a maturity in the drag scene that I've noticed that like you don't see as much publicized issues with queens with each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
So
for aspiring queens, what would you say? What skills are essential for the crowd?
For aspiring queens, I would say be professional. That's one. Be on time. That's really important. Like especially when you're first starting out, because you don't want your impression of to queens being like she's always late, because you're gonna lose a lot of great gigs that way. If Holly D was still watching this, I would have her like not come on, but she would comment, because she's the one that really like got me together on like just being on time for even rehearsals and stuff. It really just looks better, especially when you're working corporate gigs. So be professional, be on time, and I think the last thing is just really with being professional, just kind of be easy to work with. You are any queen that is. Can I think agree with me when I say that when you are on stage, you are that bitch. You are the diva. You are the head bitch in charge. When you are off stage, you are a human being. So you do not need to be some strung up diva that thinks she's hot shit off the stage when you're talking to other queens, when you're working with other queens, or when you're even talking to people that have come to your show. Because the one thing I don't like is a queen that is talented with a shitty attitude. Yes, Brian. You will look. It's 5:34, baby. I'm almost done with my face. So I'm about to get. Brian is the owner of Frescoes, where I'll be at tonight for bingo. So he's the one I was like, see you at 7 p.m. sharp. I'm like, yeah. But yeah, those three things: be on time, be professional, and just be easy to work with. I think that's been the reason why I've been so successful in New York City, is because I've always tried to make sure that I exude those three kind of aspects of my career. I always do my job wherever I'm at. I always try to be easy to work with and not be complicated or difficult to work with. And I really just try to enjoy myself with whatever queen I'm with, so that my image is not one of like a nasty like a-hole. It's one that like, oh, she's easy to work with, she's fun to work with, and she can slay it.
Okay. So before we end this, I just want to ask if you have any interesting projects or events coming up.
Yes, so I have a project, but I can't say too much of it. I worked on it kind of during COVID, and we're just kind of waiting for finalized things. So, just keep an eye out for on the TV. Of course, when I get the okay, I'll be promoting it and stuff. But I have worked on that project. Other than that, I'm just gonna be around the city, twirling my ass around. So
we're not on your social media, right? You have any other social media platforms other than Instagram?
So I have a Facebook. It's my boy named Zachary Bellevue, so Zacary. I'll give it to you too, so you can post it like on your page and stuff, or like on your story. But I have that. I also have an Inita D one. It's INITA_D. It's the same like my Instagram. So you can check me out on Facebook. I do not have a Twitter. I can't keep up with all these social media platforms. Also, it's a lot. It's so much. Ooh, it is so much. But what I will say is, I do also have a TikTok. It is Inita, again, INITAD. I believe it's I think it's a hyphen. No, it might be underscore. It's one or the other. But check me out. I have posted a few things here and there. I'm not on it a lot because I can't be well in and lashing and at the same time.
Instagram is cutting me off. But I just want to say you're beautiful. You're an amazing person. Thank you so much for being here today, and keep being you. Bless you.
Thank you. Bless you. Love you.
Bye, boo.
Bye, baby.
Thank you, everybody. May the